Yes, all right. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi, and I'm here with the latest of Arsenal news, especially Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of the Leeds game. He's been talking about so many things: online abuses, death threats to his family. So, if you're one of those people who have been threatening him with death threats, actually, you might need to listen to this until the end because he's been speaking about how he's been attacked online. His son and his family have actually been attacked online, of course, with a couple of other Premier League officials. Steve Bruce, one of them, of course, is really doing so poorly at Newcastle. I do understand why he's been attacked, as well as Mike Dean. Dean has been attacked as well. He has had a couple of ridiculous statements and decisions in the previous games he has officiated as referee. We are going to be talking about that and more. Partey is frustrated, according to Mikel Arteta. He says the injuries are actually frustrating Thomas Partey. So we are going to be discussing that and more. Smash the like button, get your subscriptions in and your comments as well, and tell me what you think about the Leeds game. It's really interesting. I was reading through your comments on the last video, and someone told me, because this season we're so sloppy, he can't. He said I can't even predict what's going to come out of the Leeds game, and of course I would agree. No further. I think it is a season where we just have to get ourselves onto, the finishing line. However bad we are, however worse we are, however, poor we are, get ourselves onto the finishing line and then try to capitalize on our mistakes in the summer, try to bring in some quality players and maybe prepare for another better season. But Mikel Arteta has been speaking about that and more. Gabriel Martinelli, Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney, and the online abusers, as well as Marcel Bielsa. He's been asked whether he's a Marcel Bielsa disciple, and he actually said no, he isn't. He just tries to learn a few points from from Bielsa, but he actually isn't a Marcelo Bielsa descendant, should I say? Like Pep Guardiola. But let us see much of that in the press conference and try to react to some of the points that he did actually make, especially on the injury crisis at Arsenal these days. First and foremost, he was asked about on Gabriel Martinelli, and he did say that he came back, he did really well, and then he picked up another injury. It took him a while to come back, and now it's about getting the rhythm and earning his place in the team like anybody else. And when he has the opportunities. Don't forget we played him last time against Manchester United. He played ahead of the other players, so it's not. So he says he's not that he's not having the opportunities. Yeah, I think Gabi. I think first and foremost, I think the fact is we rushed Gabi back. We rushed Partey back from the initial injuries they had suffered because first and foremost the manager was under pressure and we were doing so poorly. So I think he rushed Gabriel Martinelli back. He rushed Thomas Partey back, and we now we can see the effects of rushing those players back from injuries. And I don't want to name myself a saint. I don't want to say Mikel Arteta is to blame, because the truth is Arteta is not to blame for rushing them back. All of us asked for them, and if you're gonna blame Mikel Arteta for rushing Gabriel Martinelli back, from injury, rushing Thomas Partey, you've got to blame yourself as well, because all the fans actually were shouting, we want Gabriel Martinelli, we want Thomas Partey, we want Gabriel Martinelli, we want Thomas Partey, and now they're injured. Of course, he says he has to fight for his place in the first lineup. I think he's really a potential player. He is really gifted. We just need to give him a lot of time. He's still young, 19 years of age. Give him time, let him settle back in, and he can give us what he has to give us. But the truth is, Arteta, the reason as to why Mikel Arteta actually rushed Martinelli back is, because we were performing poorly. Other players, we had Willian, Pepe, none of them was actually, giving us, what we wanted to get or what we needed from them. So when Gabriel Martinelli, edges closer to his comeback, what Mikel Arteta does, he actually gives him, 90 minutes against Manchester City. If you still remember, he gives him 90 minutes against Manchester City in the FA Cup, and he gets injured in that game. Then he actually he comes back over the weekend and he gives him another game, and then he plays him against Manchester United. So many games, strong games coming in thick and fast. What did you expect? He had to get injured there. So Arteta says he will be back, and he needs to fight for his place in the starting lineup. Hopefully he does. On whether Arsenal will prioritize the Europa League now over the Premier League, he did say that the priority is Leeds, and then we go back to Europe. It's a competition that we know can give us access to what we want. Of course, he's basically he's talking about Champions League football. Of course, a competition that I know that we cannot win. And of course, he says that there is still a long way to go. It's still a very, very strange year as well with the locations where we are going to play those games. And let's go step by step. Look, I think Arteta doesn't want to say this, but if he's a good manager and if he's a good strategist, if it was Jose Mourinho, he would say, I think Europa League is pretty more important than everything else, this season, and that's the fact for Arsenal right now. You can't get top 4, and look, last season we couldn't get top 6, but what we did was we were lucky. We got an FA Cup, which turned to be our priority. We played every game in the FA Cup like it was a final. I think that's how that's how we need to treat the Europa League. Play every game like a final. Try to convince these players that this is a final. Try to show them that how important these games are in the Europa League. You're playing Benfica on Thursday. I'll be doing all the necessary videos to make you follow. But look, Arteta saying that Leeds is the priority, for me it's not true. We have around 10, 15 games to go to the end of the season. We can't catch City. We can't catch Leicester City. We can't catch United. We can't catch Liverpool. Top 4 is gone. Aston Villa is what? 4 points ahead of us with 2 games in hand. It looks like top 6 is gone as well. So for me, I think the Europa League must be our priority. It is our priority. Whether Mikel Arteta likes it or not, it's our priority now. And if he doesn't prioritize Europa League, still thinking that he can fight for top 6 is going to be ridiculous, and it's going to be really, really stupid. And he's gonna get blamed for it if he does such stupid, stupid of a decision. Of course, talking about Florian Balogun, he did say that no, I'm still very positive. That Fuller is going to stay with us. And it is what we are trying to do as a club, and it's what I'm trying to do as a manager. As far as I know from last week, the player wants to be. He was asked whether Florian Balogun, whether Arsenal fans actually should be continuing with the preparations that Florian Balogun is going to be leaving the club. Of course, he didn't leave in January, although there were many rumors that actually he had agreed a deal with RB Leipzig in Germany, but he didn't actually leave in January. That means that Arsenal can actually fight for him until the end of the season when his contract actually runs up. For a fact, I think Balogun is going to leave. He is this kind of player who wants playing time, and I don't think he's going to get that kind of playing time at Arsenal. Even look, Eddie is not playing time. Is not playing anymore. He's not getting that game kind of game time that Florian Balogun could be envious of. He's not getting it courtesy of Aubameyang and Alexander Lacazette. Now things have zeroed down to an extent that Aubameyang and Lacazette have to play in the same position because Pepe, Willian, and Gabriel Martinelli are the masters of the left wing, and on the right wing we are using Bukayo Saka. So there is no way you're going to tell me that you're going to play 2 strikers, Pepe and Willian. That would be what? A 4-1, kind of formation. It would be, just ridiculous. So what we have to do is reduce the numbers on the striking line. And for me, if there is any position that we need to sign a player in the summer, it's going to be the striking position. I don't care whether Balogun stays or goes. The truth is, we need a striker. You can't run a whole season off the back of Balogun, and we can't run anymore off the back of a player like Alexander Lacazette, who cannot be that consistent. We need a striker in the summer, so it's going to be very hard for Arsenal to convince Balogun to stay if we get a striker in the summer. If we are going to a striker, because if Lacazette leaves, Balogun is going to take himself as the successor. But for me, I don't think he is, that type. I don't think he's that kind of player who's going to score 25 goals in a season, and that's what we are lacking right now. And we've seen Arsenal really suffer courtesy of failure to score goals. On whether Matt Ryan could play over Leno against Leeds, I think Leno is still out. Let me. I didn't hear this question anyway. Let me try to go through it. He says, "Well, I think Matt played really a good game. For the first game he played with us after a little training, I think he was really good. I really like the way he reacted because to concede a goal on your debut so early and still react the way he did shows a lot of character for him. So that's why we brought him here, and so." And he has to be an option, and he has to keep Ban Leno actually going. Look, I thought Ban Leno's red card was straight. It's gonna be 3 games, but it looks like he might actually be back against Leeds. And I think it's gonna be very interesting to see who Mikel Arteta plays. Does he punish Ban Leno by leaving him out of the starting lineup because of his ridiculous mistake or ridiculous decision against against Wolves, or what? Does he bring him back against Leeds? Look, I don't think Matt Ryan had a bad game. I don't think he deserves to be put out of the starting lineup. But of course, Ban Leno is our number 1 goalkeeper, and we are not sure whether we are going to retain Matt Ryan in the summer. So if Leno is available, then definitely I'll go with Leno. But I've gone with Matt Ryan in my predicted lineup, and I gave you my reasons. I thought Leno was going to be out for 3 games. Arteta on Pepe's form, he did say that there is a click for him and in his mentality, how he's approaching every training session, importance of every action in the game. I really like his attitude, and he says what he does in the recent weeks has been much better. He still has a lot of room to improve, and he's willing to do so. I'm expecting him to go back to the next level very, very soon. And I think, look, I don't know what Mikel Arteta told Pepe, or what whatever kind of Pepe whatever kind of thing Pepe did, but I think he's having such a tremendous change, such a tremendous improvement. Not so many players really have such moments within a season, and you're one of the worst performers. Because look, the truth is Pepe was one of the worst performers at Arsenal in the Premier League. And then he's now trying to become one of the best performers, in the Premier League. In the last 3 games, you could argue out that he was, he is one of the best performers actually, for Arsenal in the past 3 games. However much we have not picked up so many points. So I think Pepe, if he continues where he is, then we're going to see a different kind of Pepe. Chris Whitley did ask about Kieran Tierney, and he did say that Mikel Arteta did say that we are going to have to see how the knee reacts when he starts going a little bit more load. He hasn't done much. He's very positive at the moment. He's in great spirits. He's desperate to get back on the team. We will see in the next few days, the moment he starts to train more with the team, how the knee is feeling and how and react a lot. Of course, he was asked whether he did estimate the gravity of the injury before, and of course he said they didn't expect Kieran Tierney to be out this long. They didn't expect that injury to be that bad. But of course now it is on to us that Kieran Tierney is off, and Cedric is playing as our left back. Of course, he says he has not really trained a lot. He's not, he's in great spirits, but he's not training. So there isn't much we can actually expect out of Kieran, and he's definitely ruled out of that Leeds clash on Saturday. Speaking about Thomas Partey, he did say that he hasn't had a preseason and probably hasn't had the type of preparation much needed for such a change, and then his anxiety willing to do so well, to feel important. He's a big signing. And he says all of those add to the same thing. He broke down again. We need to be patient, and now he needs to recover properly, because it's going to be key for us to have him available towards the end of the season. I think you see every game now is a final, but I don't mean to really say that our season is over, but I might say as well that we actually need to let Thomas Partey here. I don't think there is so much we are going to save this season. What, top 4? No. Top 6? No. Maybe top 8. I don't think we are going to. We might not even do it for in the top 8 with or without Thomas Partey. So I would say probably let him rest, let him recover, and prepare for the next season. The only hurting things he's going to have is that he's not going to be playing in Europe next season, because I believe we might go past Benfica, but then the round of 16 could be a little bit harder, and that's where we might drop out of the Europa League. So the truth is, Thomas Partey's injury is a serious one. He's been talking about it, Mikel Arteta, and I think it's now time to face the reality that Thomas needs time to heal. And of course, he did say that we are all devastated because we know the importance of Thomas Partey, and we have had him, we haven't had him since we signed him for 3 consecutive games. It's a blow for us, but but he's adapting to the league very well. He was asked about on how he affects him, and he said, "I'm not the only one who is that is suffering these types of things. When you are winning everything, of course, this is actually the abuse online I was talking about at the beginning of the video." And Mikel Arteta was asked whether he's actually affected by the online abuse, and he did say that I'm not the only person suffering this kind of things. When you are winning every game, everything is beautiful and you're incredible and the best coach, and when you lose, it's completely the opposite. It's not pleasant, and it goes personally against me. I can take it. When the family is involved, it's a different story there. He did talk about, still continuing about online abuse. He did say, "I prefer not to read because it would affect me a lot more than that somebody wants to touch my family, because it happened. The club was aware of it. They tried to do something about it, and that's it. We have to live with it. It's not gonna stop. We know that." But medium, long term, we can do something about it. So that is Mikel Arteta actually speaking about online abuse, really saying that his family has been attacked. He's been attacked as a person, and he says he just needs to concentrate on how things actually are going to be manning up, not actually give a lot of online abuse a lot of time. But the fact is, everyone is angry, and people are angry with Mikel. I was angry with Mikel, before January, but now I can see actually the January transfer window for me opened up so many things for me, especially when it comes to Mikel Arteta and his squad. I think he needs a squad of his own. He needs players. We have already seen what he wants to do. We have already seen what he feels he wants to do as a manager. I don't believe in him to be this kind of great guy, but for the clear out, for recruitment, probably him and Edu, I can give them a vote of no confidence, because they have actually done it. They have actually, proven that they can drive out Deadwood and bring in some quality signings. So probably I'll give him time until the end of the season. But of course, that is what he has been talking about in this press conference. Anything you want to know, please do go to the comment box and ask me, and subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button on this video, and I'll speak to you in the next one.